Hello, and good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am Felix, a Berlin-based composer. And yeah, here on these live streams, we're basically just making music, talking a little, and I haven't done any of these in quite some time. I'm very sorry for that. Several reasons for that, but I'll get into this later. Shout out to our latest subscriber here, Terry Martin. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you're getting some beautiful stuff here that you might like, I hope. Francesca Meloni is here, writes, good morning. I already replied in chat, but also here, nice to have you. And Wanderer, Wanderer? I'm still not quite sure how to pronounce your name. It's beautiful to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, quite a lot of stuff happening because it's I think 2 months almost ago that I live streamed, and I wanted to have this this should have happened 2 months ago. But yeah, first of all, I now have a son. Was born a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, now we are 4. So a daughter and now a son as well. And it's really beautiful, and it's a lot of work. And it's one of the reasons why the streams had to be postponed a little. But yeah, it's we are slowly settling in here, and it's nice. It's very very nice actually. Yeah, and there was some work to do as well. I think I'll again. Wonder writes, congratulations. Thank you, Wanderer. Philip Herman writes, congrats. Thank you. Yeah, it's weird having 2 children, especially when they are so far apart, because like the newborn is just so small. It more resembles a kind of cute animal that's just and not some person, while the other child is really has a lot of personality traits and is yeah, it's very different. And it's hard to imagine that child once also was like this small. Yeah. So lots of beautiful stuff happening right now. Let me just start this by getting you all up to date. Francesca Meloni writes, wow, Felix, really happy for you. That's the reason I don't follow every stream right now. My daughter is now 8. Oh, okay. 8 months old. Okay. Welcome to the club. Yeah. Yeah, it's but I feel it's very different from the first child, because the second child is already arriving in this whole infrastructure with all these schedules, and everything is already basically my life has changed a lot. Like 3-4 years ago when my daughter was born, and now there's not much need to change a lot, because basically everything is there already. So which brings its own unique challenges with it, but yeah, but it's but as you can imagine, Francesco, it's a lot of work. Also today, yeah, and I'm thinking, when he's sleeping in my arm, I don't want to just wake him up to start this live stream. So that also contributed to that. So, couple of things. Let's start with a small update on what's happening here. I have a release plan for this album right now. Meloni writes 1 + 1, it's 10, not 2 when it's about kids. Yeah, well, I right now, I mean, he is sleeping a lot, and I mean he has some problems with his belly, but yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I basically need like, or we collectively here need like 20-30% of the energy we needed for our first daughter to make this whole thing or work, but maybe that will change. Pretty sure that will change. But yeah, as you can see, Noise album is basically the new album I'm working on right now. It's not the one I'm releasing tracks of right now, which will probably be out on the 26th of May. But yeah, right now I'm working on a brand new album, and I'm in week 17 of 20, which I planned. And as you can imagine, just like with these live streams, it didn't went as planned. So basically maybe spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum, and not 17. So yeah, the problem is here on 28th of March there's a studio booked and a string quartet booked and maybe a flute player as well and a clarinet player. So I need to have something to record by that date. Yeah, but wait, I'll just change the music a little bit because I'm just having a loop play in the background right now from my oops. Let me see what we can. I think I can just play my music. I think, I'm not quite sure, but just to be sure, this is Felix. Why not? Why not? All right. Okay. Yeah. Just a short plan. What I will do today. I'll just bring you up to speed what's happening, because there's a lot of beautiful stuff happening right now. Like business-wise, it is kind of a business, right? And then maybe I'll improvise a little bit, even though I think we have more than enough material for the new album, but I just need that contemplation moment to just make music for once again. Yeah, and then I don't know. I think then the stream will already be over. So yeah. So I think the biggest thing that has happened was, maybe I'm not. Wait, New Year. Streams are going okay on Spotify. It's okay. I think. End of last year was just what I found interesting is that my prognosis, like the projected income from these streams, is pretty much spot on here. So the red line is what's actually being paid out, and the blue line is what I think, what I projected. And yeah, for this year, for January, it should be somewhere around 3,000 just from Spotify, which is pretty incredible. And one thing happened that is really good. It's very good, and it makes me a little bit happy because I've been trying to do that for quite some time. And it's not like I did anything in particular. It just happened. Maybe I did something, I don't know. But it's this year, and these are the Apple Music stats. So maybe some of you have seen that. There was a track I released together with Theodor Volgas, great artist I met almost a year ago. Well, that's a little bit too much. And we made a track or two and released that, and he's on a pretty big label. And they got this one track onto Apple Music, which did pretty decent here. Downside is I won't see any money from this for quite some time, because there's this big label, there's management, there's all this classically, all the people that usually just take a huge cut from that sweet revenue. But for some reason, and maybe somebody at Apple Music just looked into what I do. I don't know, because of that. And here, this is actually Berceuse, which is now on an Apple Music playlist and is doing pretty okay, actually. I mean, depending on how long it will stay on the playlist, but if it's just hovering at around 10,000 streams a day, and Apple Music pays 3 times as much as Spotify does, roughly, not quite, but I think roughly, then that would be pretty incredible, because right now I have like 3 times the streams I get from Apple Music on Spotify, and that already pays about 2,500 to 3,000 euros. So if that, yeah, when I realized that yesterday, I thought I don't want to get my hopes up, but yeah, so it's pretty good, pretty good. Francesco writes, I noticed you are getting progressively away from electronics in your composition. Yeah, that's... do you plan to put more synthesizers and textures in your work in progress album? Yeah, I'm planning to. Yeah, that's actually something I noticed as well. And I don't quite like it. Because I feel like that's the one thing. I mean, I also really like to do stuff like this here. And there is electronics in there. There's this whole piano synthesizer, not synthesizer, but piano effects pedals and all that. But yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, first of all, when I'm on the piano, I have much more and much better ideas. Just because I feel more connected to this instrument, and it's just more immediate, and I can this process of hearing something and then correcting it in a way that I like it more, and then anticipating what could be done next. This circle, which runs at, I don't know, 10,000 times a second, that seems to run much slower on the synthesizer. So and maybe also because there's much broader much more broader space of possibilities, so of sonic possibilities that you have to be able to choose from. You can't have this process of listening, playing, anticipating, correcting this run like at 10,000 rounds a second or something. Yeah, because you have to turn the knobs and do all that stuff. And on the piano, it's much more immediate. So I feel like it's easier to come up with great ideas on the piano. I feel great ideas, good ideas at least, or ideas I'm comfortable with. But I'm actively improvising on synthesizers, on the synthesizer, and trying to find stuff that works on there, mainly because I feel like I don't want to leave out this space, because I'm this synthesizer space, because I really yeah, I think there's still a lot to be found there for me. Yeah, but it's harder. It's just, let's put it that way. I think it's harder to come up with great ideas, or ideas that I like enough to pursue them on the synthesizers, for me at least. Ramin K, hey, how are you? Writes, love your music, Felix. I had a question about your music videos. When you are shooting the music video, do you play on top of the original music? And open bracket, how do you sync the video with the original track? Well, I'm kind of cheating, because I have the original track playing here on the system in the studio, and then I just play along to that and try to sync up my playing to that original recording as close as possible. And when I make a mistake or something, I will usually have like 3, 4, 5 takes from different perspectives, and usually I just cut away to, I don't know, something else, and then you can't see really the mistake. For example, what I'm still really mad about is that in the Driven video, it was really late at night, really late, and this piece is pretty loud. So to take care of my neighbors here, because this is my flat, right? I'm just like in a basic apartment here in Berlin. Below us and above us, there are people living they're right next to us as well. And if I'm recording this video like at, I don't know, late at night, I had to play a little bit more quiet, and I feel like I can see that I'm in the video. I'm playing much more softly than I would be if I actually would be playing that. So, but yeah, I'm really just having the video, the track running here. With I think I usually have some kind of little some kind of count in for when the music actually starts, so that you can get the initial notes right. But yeah, apart from that, that's how I do it. Philip Herman writes, are you self-releasing everything, or you're with a label? That's a very good question, Philip. Up until this point, I have been self-releasing almost everything. And right now there are some releases, for example the one with Theodor Wolgers, where we are releasing that through his label, which is PS Nordic, I think, which is a big classical label. So in that case, they have to earn a lot of money with this until we actually see some money from that, and that is Theodor and me. There's another release coming in 4 weeks, I think, where I'm just trying out to release something with a label, which is I think if you remember a couple of months ago, there were several labels contacting me, and I was talking to all of them actually, or not to all of them, but to most of them. And yeah, I thought I'll do this. I'll try to just as a let's see how this goes. Release something with Moderna Records. Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. I think the track will be out in 4 weeks, like celebrating Piano Day. So yeah, I thought that was a good thing. And right now it's already pretty convenient, because I don't have to care about all that marketing, releasing strategy stuff, which is really liberating, because I know that they are taking care of this. Obviously, they are taking a cut of this, but not a huge one. I think it's pretty fair. Yeah, so but that's actually the only track. And out of the, how many tracks did I release? 60, 50, 60? I think almost all of them are self-released. So I get 100% of everything, including the work. So yeah, but yeah, right now I think it's worth it. Especially now if this actually continues here on Apple Music, that's good. That's very good. Maciej Iselowski writes, hi Felix, nice to see you. Yeah, it's nice to see you too. How are you? How are you doing? Working on something new? Philip Herman writes, I feel exactly the same about synthesizers versus piano. The piano is just much more immediate. On a synth, personally, I need to fiddle a lot before I find something to start from. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's like this track here, I still love this. It's Becoming Ocean. It's the one track I released, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years ago, which actually landed me my first placement on a Spotify playlist. And yeah, still really, really like this. And it's basically an improvisation. I tried to do something like Rival Consoles. What's this track called? Untravel, I think, is the track. Beautiful, beautiful piece by Rival Consoles. And I tried to do something like that and improvise something, and yeah, then that's what came out of that. But yeah, it starts from an improvisation. So if there's an improvisation that kind of works on the synthesizer, it's great. And this whole thing is like the way it is. All the chords, the melody, all that is improvised. It's 100% improvised. And then I just fiddle around a little bit and just shaped it. And if it's, if it works like that, perfect. If you have a sound that works, then you can just take the MIDI. Maybe you re-record some parts with, but yeah. In this case, it really works for me. And there's another track on that album I'm releasing right now, where I try to also create something with the synthesizer, and it's okay, I think. But it took a lot of work to make this tracks work somehow, and it was just a little more tedious, and I don't know. Yeah, just it doesn't feel as natural. It doesn't come as naturally. It's a lot of work, which and is not a bad thing necessarily. But Ruben is here. Says, "Hello Felix, congratulations for your newborn son. Thank you. May he be healthy and in all aspects. Yeah, he's doing all right. He has some belly problems right now, so but it's not too bad. It's I think most boys have that. I think more boys than girls do have this belly thing. But yeah, it's new. Yeah, I think that's about it for the update. I'm still, yeah, budget for the new album should be around 4,000 euros. Yeah, but I think that's fair. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. I think here in next week, in 1 week, there's a new single which will be released. I don't think this will be doing very well because it doesn't really fit any in this playlist. What's this called? Ecosystem. Doesn't belong anywhere there. So, but yeah, I will still release this. Yeah. So, what should we do? Man, I look like shit. I also feel like I'm very exhausted right now, to be honest. But yeah, you know what? Let's just make some music. Even though I should be doing something else. I should be going through. Wait a second, I can show you that as well. What I should be doing. New album to do. These are more than 30 ideas. I basically went through all the improvisations, and I also did some more improvisations here without streaming. All the ideas that come from these improvisations that could be turned into tracks. The purple ones here are pieces I already looked into a little further. But yeah, there's still a lot of stuff to be done. That's what I should do. Like, look at all these pieces and see if that could actually become something. Open my notation software, start working there, and do all the hard work. But you know what? I just I don't feel like doing hard work right now. So. Alright, that's a little bit too much here. Thank you, Felix. Okay, yeah, let's just record some music or just improvise. You know, I think I'll improvise for 20 minutes or something, and after that maybe we'll. Yeah, it's okay. Time-wise, it's okay. Maybe I will. I'll be working on what I should be working on, and then. Ramin Khan writes, "How is your film score going?" Ooh. Honestly, I will have to wait for 2-3 more weeks to tell you, but it's interesting. Let's put it that way. It's interesting. It's a great story as well, but yeah, you have to wait for a couple more weeks to get an update on this. Let's just say I'm not 100% certain this will ever become a film that's actually shown anywhere, but well, let's see. I wouldn't give up hope right now. Maybe it will work out. All right, let's make some music. Maybe I'll stick to the delay today. Oh, that felt liberating. That I think that needed to happen. Oh, that's good. I mean, I think I liked some ideas there. Not all of them, but I think, yeah. Let's see what we can do with that. Ramin K writes, "You are awesome. Keep up the amazing work." Ramin, sorry, the microphone was too quiet right now. Thank you so much. Philip Herman writes, "Beautiful. Kind of gives me EST vibes here and there." I have no idea what EST is, but Eastern Standard Time. That's but I'm pretty sure you don't mean that. Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes it's also okay to just do something and feel like, okay, I may have heard that before, but let's see where this takes me. All right, and that's maybe okay. That's maybe too much bass. Let's see. Oh, it's a little bit too loud. Maybe like that. Okay. Okay, let's stop the recording here. And it's a good thing that we actually hit the record button, because there were quite a few improvisations where I just did not hit record, and all I had was this YouTube live stream, which is better than nothing, but you know, it's Ruben Senyuk writes, "Just like always, your improvisation is so good. You can already release it on Spotify." Thank you, Ruben. That's really kind of you. Hey, and Lucy Waves here. Good morning. Have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you. Wait, let's, and then some beautiful, colorful hearts. That's always a good idea. I think there can never be too few colorful, beautiful hearts in chat, except for the brown one. I don't like brown hearts. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. You know what? Even the brown heart gets one. And maybe the pink one. That's good. Oh yeah. So if you look in chat right now, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful there. Yeah. Okay. Francisco Molino writes, "Yep, that improv was great. Thank you." Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, sometimes I think I haven't improvised like that for quite some time, and then it's like, and then I just enjoy being in that space and having that, all this ambient pillow, beautiful fluffiness surrounding my piano, and then I can just play away. And you know, I'm starting to be less afraid of melodies right now. So whenever and right now there was also some melodic stuff that was just really very, I don't know, ABAC, 16 bars, and that's it. And I'm starting to be less afraid of that. I'm starting to let that happen more, because sometimes it leads me to places which become much more interesting than I had anticipated. But yeah, but now we have another impro I need to listen to and go through and watch for good ideas. But you know what? That's fine. Let's call this live stream impro number 13. All right. Ruben Sanyuk, the improvisation dwarves kept accumulating. Yeah, exactly. They kept building and building and building. And now you release them all at once onto your piano. That sounds kind of... Yeah, but I did. It's like little lemmings. And that's really, really a desire to just when I started this live stream, also the setup of this live stream, I spent 50 minutes doing stuff I wanted, and everything just didn't work. And I'm really a little bit exhausted and don't sleep too well right now, as you might imagine. Although, no, I'm sleeping okay, actually. But yeah, it's, when I haven't done this for too long, it needs to happen. And then, yeah, sometimes there are good ideas. What I also did when I was not live streaming was just improvising for 2 hours. And the first time I did this, it was amazing. There were like 3-4 really good ideas. And the second time I did it, that was just non-zero. So, I don't know. Ramika writes, Flex, I guess you mean Felix. Flex, do you have Felix? It's Felix. But anyway, doesn't matter. I know what you mean. Felix, do you have a video on how do you connect your piano to delays and effects sends into the computer? No, I have not. But wait, let me just look. What I do have is a plan. I can show you. I can show you the world. I can show you the world. I loved that movie when I was, and especially that song. It's still playing in my head right now. Let's see if I can find that. Plan Studio something. I don't know how this was called. Did you lost let your heart be? Although the Disney movies from the 90s and have some, well, like most cultural products of that time, they have some kind of questionable messaging sometimes. But wait, I think it's here, studio routine, right? So I hope you can see that. Let me see. Yeah, okay, you can. So that's how. Okay, thank you for reminding me that I don't have the Adobe Pro whatever thing. So core of this whole studio is this Tascam Model 16, which is basically, no, we'll dive deep into this. You asked for it. No, I just like to show this off because then it makes sense that I put all that work into making this, because it really doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me to do that, like to make this. I just had, I don't know, an evening and I wanted to make something. And I didn't want to make music, so that's what happens when I do that. So Tascam Model 16 is in the middle of everything. Then here is in the DI, the first channels. You can't really use them if you want to, send stuff from the computer, because it's actually coming here from Windows and Ableton and goes into channel 1 and 2 of that Tascam mixer. Then we have like synthesizers, and then that's important, 2 microphones from behind the piano, like really close mic'd, really dry, which go into 5 and 6, and then 2 microphones that are in front, with the Brauner being this microphone here, which I don't use when which I use for talking as well. So these are the 4 microphones I usually use, and that's all. Like on all my recordings, I've used this exact setup. And all the other stuff, you can really ignore that. And then that's important. On the Tascam, you can basically decide which. I think it has 3 aux sends, so I can just open the aux on the piano tracks here. Most of the time, I just use 5 and 6, so the really direct dry channels, and send that out either to the. It's not really the Kemper profile anymore. I sold that. Now it's really just the effects board. So you can just think of this input as being this here. It just goes straight into that effects board, and then stereo out back into channels 9 and 10 here, and then I can just choose how loud this should be, and the same thing with the effects on the piano, except for that the effects on the piano, there's a whole nother. I think there was a live stream where I showed that exact setup here, like 2 or 3 live streams ago. I'm sorry, I can't really remember, but if you look at that live stream, I'm also showing the setup from the behind the piano with microphone placement and the exact pedals here I use on the piano. Yeah, and that goes stereo in from the aux and stereo return. So it returns back to channel 11 and 12, and then I can also, these are stereo paired, so I can just pull up the stereo fader here, or like on 11, 12, and then I can just balance that out real quick, and yeah, then that goes out to the Apollo Twin X, which is kind of, I don't know, the setup doesn't really make sense, but it kind of grew into this. and then that goes out as it's basically just a controller for my speakers here. So it goes out to the speakers or to my headphones. But in this case, it goes out through the line out into another interface, which I just use for streaming. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes OBS crashes and then I have to restart. But that's yeah. I don't. I'm not exactly sure when the stream stopped working. So yeah, but I think you've got a good idea of what's how this setup here is actually working. And yeah, this is an older plan, so this Volca sample is not there anymore. The camper profiler is not there anymore. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same. And there's and one thing that's also new, that there is a patch bay here. So it doesn't go directly into the Tascam, but there's a patch bay, a really cheap one from Thomann. I don't know. So that I can just, yeah. And my daughter also loves to play with this and put colorful cables in that patch bay and pull them out. But yeah. So far so good. So what I should actually start working on the stuff that I should be working on. So yeah, you know what we can do? Let's listen to this here. This is something I wanted to listen to last time. Ruben Sanyuk says, you shared the studio routing setup file a while ago. Yeah, okay, I think I also shared the link to it in chat, I think. You know what? I can do that again. Why not? Or can I? Wait. Ruben says, you shared that studio routing setup file a while ago. It was useful for me for inspiration. That's good. That's good to know. Thank you. I still have it in my downloads folder. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. That's good. You know, at least somebody got some use out of that. So, wait, let me see if I can find the link, and then I can share it in the Dropbox. Linky Pinky, where are you? I just set this up here. Shopify, no. Wait, where is it? I just had it. Manuals, I think. Well, I think I always thought I was kind of organized here, but yeah, studio manuals. Okay, all right. Copy Dropbox link. So I will just post this here in chat, the link to this file, in case anybody else wants to see that as well, or have that. All right. So it's in chat right now. If you want to have that file, download that, and yeah, you can just have a look. It's pretty straightforward actually, but and it's really just for this specific use case with the equipment I've gathered over the years. So it's not really, if I would have to set this whole thing up from scratch, I would do it very differently, I think. Not very differently, but a lot of details would be different, I think, especially the whole streaming part. So let's take this. Raminka writes, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope you're getting some use out of that. All right, let's have a listen. Well, that's loud. That was an improvisation from the live stream number 3. But I think this must have been, this is video playback, so I think that was again a case where I just forgot to press record on live stream number 2, maybe, and had to import that. Ruben writes, mine is named Felix Roche, studio routing April 2021 PDF. Was it already almost 2 years? I think when I made this might have been 2 years, but the last time I've showed this, it has been later, I think, because this is quite some time I haven't updated this. So I think I showed you this last time. I mean, what do you think of this idea? I think it's getting better. Right now it's pretty... Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I think it's coming now. That's okay. But again, there should be more stuff with synthesizers happening here, I feel like. It's kind of similar to what I did just there, right? Yeah, it's okay. And I think I like the loop in the background. Oh, and I recorded that as well. Okay, the loop is the loop you hear in the background. I think I recorded that solo as well. Oh, that's nice. But we need a name for this. It's kind of a walking pace. You know what we could do? Something I did quite a lot in the last couple of days. Let's use ChatGPT for a name. It's always fun. Roke writes, "Hey, by the way, nice to have you here. Hi Felix, love your music. One question, what are your thoughts on contact piano libraries such as Noir? Wouldn't that simplify much of the routing, or they just don't sound that well to you?" Well, they just don't sound that well. And the problem is not that they have not been meticulously recorded but that well, it's really hard for me to describe this because it's a very visceral experience that I have when I'm sitting on this piano with all the detail and noise that I can just control like an organism, and it just feels like a part of me. And this is not something which is like esoteric, it's a part of me, I feel the universe, but it's really something you can actually, I think you could measure this by some way. There's just a very different connection to the instrument because it's made of wood, and you can feel the hammers moving and all of that. And I've never ever sat on a digital electronic instrument that does that for me. Point one. Point two, there's just technical stuff that's really hard, almost impossible. Like, I think right now it's impossible to really get right. And that's first of all the pedal positions. So wait, I'm not sure if I can show you that. Well, I can try. I can try to show you that. Wait. It's a little bit difficult, but we can try. For example, I mean, there. If you know, below the piano, there are right now for me there are two pedals. The most important one is the one on the right. If I play a note like that, it doesn't. But you can also hear. You know, there's. Sorry, that was loud. But there's still some ringing. Like the strings are still ringing, even though they are damped. So if I press that pedal full press, it just keeps on playing, right? Because the dampening is off. But on the piano, what I do most of the time, I almost never press this full. You know, most of the time I press this like just a little bit, like this, and then it goes away. Well, now I'm like quarter pressed, like half pressed, and then I just take the pedal away. So I'm doing like a lot of work with that pedal, like that. Oh, maybe now I press this a little more, on a little more, and then I slowly take it away. And that's there's a lot of granular control you have with that pedal over the sound, which first of all doesn't really sound like it's really important, but in the end this pedal with without and with. It makes so much. It makes it sound so much different, and not so much different, but it's just this. It's a little magic sauce that just makes this thing a little. And the pedal is constantly moving. It's constantly moving between 0%, 2%, 5%, and it's just like an organism. Wait a second, not like an organism, but it's constantly moving, like a very analog thing that's also playing just like I'm playing the keys. And that's most of the libraries, Contact as well, don't really sample that. There are libraries that, especially those that are using physical modeling, so they're not really a library, but a software program that's modeling this pedal behavior, string behavior, that try to get this right, and they do up to a certain point, but then again you don't get all this this analog crunch that's always a little different, but so to make things short, I've tried almost all these libraries, and it never really sounds anything close. It gets like to 60-70% of where that piano can get me, but first of all, this connection to the instrument is never there, which is also one of the main reasons that inspires me. And in this loop that I play, I listen, I anticipate, and then I correct something, this loop that's running constantly, that doesn't work as well on a digital instrument, because I don't feel that connection to this instrument as well. So that's the reason I don't use these libraries. But of course, if I could, that would make things a lot easier. I think what Olafur Arnalds did, and what when I was studying at university, we also had one piano that was an analog piano like that, but it had motors on the keys, on the keyboard. So you could basically record something. It would also at the same time record the MIDI for that, or in another more elaborate format, and then could just have that playback. And that again that would make things easier, definitely. But that costs a lot of money, like really a lot of money. So I can't spend that much money on anything because I don't even closely have that much. So but maybe, hey, if what is it? Now, if Spotify and Apple Music and maybe Amazon pays, I think, the most in per stream revenue. If they put me on playlists, and but I think the first step would be getting a really, really nice studio somewhere where I don't have to, take care of the birds chirping outside or the heating being like the being recorded. But what I wanted to do, Roka ROK writes, thank you for such a meticulous answer. You're welcome. Philip Herman writes, would you use excerpts of the recording from the live stream in the final pieces, or you use it as a reference for re-recording? Well, if it's really good and if it's really just one piece that's feels finished from start to end, I would consider taking that material and using that. But most of the time I find it's really hard to recreate a sound I had on this piano, because this piano is also constantly moving, changing. It's made of wood, so depending on the temperature, the room, like the humidity in the room, all that. This instrument is constantly changing. My setup here is also constantly moving a little bit, so it's really hard. Also on the piano there are several settings, like how close the felt is, how high up or how low it is, and also how I feel that day. So it really is pretty hard to get the exact sound I had from 4 weeks ago or something. So I usually just end up re-recording everything, which is fine usually. But I think I'm not quite sure. Sometimes I use parts of the, especially the electronics which are almost impossible to recreate. So if they are really good, I use them. Philip Herman writes, and what does your routine look like when it comes to listening back, working out where to go with the improvisations? Oh, well, that's... we could... Yeah, I think I would do that on the next stream. I will listen back to what we improvised today. So usually I would have that playing. And sometimes I listen very closely, and sometimes I do just other stuff. And while it's playing in the background, I hear something, and it jumps out at me because it's really exceptionally different. Not necessarily better, but just different or something. And then I just switch back to Ableton and have a closer look. Especially when it's an improvisation where there's a lot of desert you have to go through, and like a lot of stuff that just isn't really good. I usually end up just going to some other website, and maybe I go to Instagram and just read through some messages or stuff like that. But then, yeah, usually I also sometimes and then after that comes the really hard part. When I have found some places that are interesting, and this is already cut up, right? This is already some best of material from that one improvisation. And after that, right now I tend to, and that's that's when it gets to be really a lot of work. First of all, find the interesting bits, and that's interesting. So, and then I would take that and notate that in Dorico. That's what I did for 5 tracks already here. Especially with the more piano-based things. And also if I feel that there needs to be some more development on that. Sometimes it's just finished. Sometimes some stuff is just done. On the piano album, there were the interludes, I think, and they were mostly just finished, like right after recording. But yeah. And also this hummingbird. Where is it? Can't find it right now. Yeah. It's somewhere. The hummingbird improvisation. Yeah, but then I would take that and put that into Dorico. And if it's a synthesizer improvisation, I would take that and put it into MIDI and do that in Ableton. And here is all the ideas I have been working on right now. Dorian Waltz. This will be it's a lot of fun to play. It's pretty simple, but I like it. It kept on playing in my head all the time. So I think this will be nice. Noise. Quiet waves. Yeah, let's see. I don't know. And sometimes I just don't know what to do with these. And sometimes then just, this, for example, is really just all the good ideas I thought were good. So basically this year, but just in notation. And this will definitely not be looking like that in the end. But this is just really to get all the ideas into Dorico and then just play around with it on the piano. But yeah, the process is really always a little different. But yeah, I hope that answered your question, Philip. But yeah. So what I wanted to do was, and I think we still have a little bit of time left, before I save this as its own project, this red thing here, I'll have this playing in the background, is find a good name for it, and let's use ChatGPT to help us, because I'm just lazy right now. So, And sometimes it comes up with good ideas, sometimes it doesn't. Give me a good name for a slow-paced, 2, 3, walking-paced piano piece, classical something. That's great with ChatGPT. You don't have to worry about your grammar or anything. With an ambient texture in the background. That is not too generic. And a little bit artsy. 20 names, please. Let's see if it knows what to do. Oh. Well, that's actually pretty good. Fuck. Like, it's you know, there are things I'm really bad at, and one of the things is anything that has to do with language. And ChatGPT really helps me with that. Roque writes, funny thing, I'm currently learning... Oh, really? I'm currently learning Residuum and was wondering why there are some notes that I can't seem to reach. Today I noticed that you're able to reach 1st and 16th keys with the left hand. Yeah, well, I have to, you know, I've been training this thing here ever since I'm really small child. So from there to there, it's pretty hard to play these 10th sometimes, but if you really stretch this out like that, it works. Like if this is just one straight line. And sometimes, maybe I can show you that as well. Sometimes you have to... Oh, that's also nice here. Okay, anyway, sometimes you have to... I can't quite remember how Residuum goes anymore. But there are these... let me see if I can bring that down a little closer. Oh, no, I can't, apparently. Okay. But there are these... wait. Come on. Slow down. Okay, anyway. There are these chords where you... how does this go? I actually don't really know how to play this right now. But yeah, what I do a lot is, for example, here you have an F major chord. That's something my piano teacher taught me when I was, I don't know, 10 or something, was that, hey Felix, instead of just playing a triad like this, take the 3rd and put that 1 octave higher, then you have this. And it's a pretty normal thing to do. I think it's like you find that a lot in piano literature, and then you can just play around with it and do all sorts of. But yeah, this idea of just taking a triad and spreading it out like that is something I do a lot, especially in the left hand. And if you just have this F major, that's pretty easy to do. What's harder is, for example, this, like E flat major, because the different distance from this E flat to this G is pretty big. So what I do is, maybe you can see that, I don't play it like that, but the thumb here is there. So, and because of that, I can still reach that key easily. Not easily, but I can reach it. I could even go a little further. And that's about what I can do, like an octave plus a 4th. But yeah, that's kind of my trick. Like the little key just hangs on to the edge here, little finger, and the thumb is on there. So maybe, and then sometimes you have to change fingers because, like with this D major, for example, my middle finger just won't work. So I just use my 2nd finger as the middle, like the 5th. And then at some point, yeah, same thing with A flat major. Just my little finger just hangs on to the edge of that black key, and my thumb is just on the very bottom here of that. And then you can honestly, I have to look up that piece again before I play it here. Wait a second. Studio view. No, that's not what I wanted. That's okay. But hey, Roke, thank you so much for playing Residuum. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm working on the sheet music to it because there are actually a lot of people writing to me and wanting to play that. So that's another thing on my to-do list, which is really long right now. Roke writes, whereas I can only do 1st and 12th. Guess my fingers are just too short. Well, yeah, sometimes, especially in music university, we also had some students who had really small hands. Mine are like not really big, but like long enough, I think, to play these 10th chords, like in almost every, in every, like on every position. But for some people, it didn't work because the fingers were actually physically too small, and they could probably spread them like this as well. And I mean, really, I've been doing this since I'm 5 years old. So this is really the same with this hand, but this even a little better. As you can see, it's just because I have been doing that since I'm 5 years old. So, and I think my hand also grew a little bit. I don't know. No idea. But and they also couldn't really play like Rachmaninoff or something, which is really hard to play. And so what you can do instead is not play it all at once, but just play a short arpeggio, like do-do-dum, like so maybe not like that all at once, but more. Then you can jump. And if you press the pedal at the same time, it's okay, I think. So that's what I would do probably. Ruben writes, now ask the ChatGPT to write a generic cheesy description for the track. Yes. Oh yes, let's do that. Wait, ChatGPT is a lot of fun. Okay, because with these 20 names, there's definitely one in there that we could just use as a at least as a working title for this. Okay, let's do it now. Write a cheesy description that's very, very generic. I'll just a little larger. Introducing a breathtakingly beautiful piano piece that will take your breath away. Yeah, it's already really bad. Really good. With its slow, gentle pace and soothing melodies, this composition is perfect for anyone who loves classical music. The ambient background texture adds an extra layer of depth. Let's have this play in the background as well. The ambient background texture adds an extra layer of depth and emotion, creating a truly immersive listening experience. From the first note to the last, you will be transported to another world where nothing exists except the sweet sound of the piano. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let this enchanting piece whisk you away on a journey of the senses. You won't regret it. Well, I don't know. I think ChatGPT can only write generic stuff, so that's okay. I'm a little generic myself, so that's fine. We're a good match, we two. Ruben writes, at Roque, just wondering the same thing today. I guess we should just buy a smaller piano. Yeah. I think really. Oh, that's also nice. Really, you see that. I think who had this question? Philip Herman. Like with this, I'm just talking, doing some silly things with ChatGPT, and then suddenly something jumps out like this, and I hear, that was good. And then I'm listening again, and I'll maybe give this a different color, so I know later I'll have to look at that a little closer. Roque says, yeah, I'm spreading as much as I can, no luck. Yeah, then I would say just use arpeggios. Just arpeggiate a little bit so that you really just boom, 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 play it like this, and you have enough time to move the hand a little. I think that's standard solution for this problem. Ruben says, this expanded triad is one of the first things when learning guitar, and it's much easier to accomplish on the guitar. Yes, it is. Like, a lot of stuff is a lot easier on other instruments, and then again, a lot of stuff is much harder. Like, try to play 10 notes at the same time on the guitar. Good luck. Pretty easy on the piano. Also really, really fast runs. Like stuff like that. Yeah. And then again, like every instrument has its benefits, right? Roque writes, amazing track though. Thank you. Well, it's funny because I thought it was okay. It's nothing I was particularly proud of, but then many people started writing me and telling me it's really enjoyed it, and they want to play it, and they want the sheet music for it. So I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. But yeah, you see, I do have a problem with just taking compliments and saying thank you. It's I think yeah, but I'm working on that. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. I can't do it. All right, and what I can also do is just record. That was a good thing. Record the background loop. Yeah, and also without the reverb, so I can really take that, for example, and use that as a basis for the real track, if we were to follow this. I mean, this is okay. I feel like we have really, if I look at this list here, where is it? Not this one, but this. These are all the like 30 something ideas, and almost all of them are, like, at least 80% of them are for piano. Maybe 1 or 2 are for synthesizer, and maybe 5, 6 for string quartet. And I would really, really love to do more electronic stuff. So, yeah, I'll have to see. The piano, what I'm saying is the piano stuff has to be really, really good. But I don't know. And then again, it's really hard to tell what is really, really good and what is just okay and what is kind of good. It's really, there's no objective way to measure that. So for me, sometimes it's really just that particular track keeps on playing in my head, so I'm just going for that. Sometimes. Ruben Sanyuk says, nice to see you again, Mr. Flex. Yes, I have to go now. Have a nice session. Yeah, thank you, Ruben. You too. Nice to have you. And have a great, productive rest of the day. It was nice having you. And see you next time. I hope I will do this next week again, Thursday. But who knows? Roque writes, bye Ruben. If you find a smaller piano, let me know. Yeah, well, this idea is kind of okay. It's a little bit too. Let's see.
But let's give it a name. Let's save it and let's call it a day. Oh no, I closed ChatGPT. No, okay, I didn't. Let's see, what name would work for this? Let's have this play in the background. Serenity's Prelude. What's Serenity? I think. Let's see. Serenity. Okay. No. Stop generating. What does Serenity mean? Is a noun that refers to the state of being calm, peaceful. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this would work. Tranquil Echoes. There's already a piece that it's named Autumn Reverie. I like this actually. Autumn's Reverie. Nostalgic Nocturne. That's a little bit cheap. Gentle Whispers, Delicate Serenade, Enchanted Mosaic, Mystical Mirage, Pirates of Time, Twilight Rhapsody. Twilight Rhapsody? That sounds like, I don't know. Ambient Elegy. I think Autumn's Reverie is actually a pretty nice name. I'll just do that. Okay, and I'll get rid of this. That's an older improvisation which I did not like. So we also don't need these channels. Ruben writes, sure, but until then, the rapid arpeggio idea sounds good. Yeah, I think, at least I remember one person I studied with, and I think she was also studying just piano, like main, and yeah, she had like little smaller hands, and that's what she did. So and it worked beautifully, and up to a point where it's just really like an artistic. It feels more like interpretation than anything else. Roque writes, yes, I'll try that. Thanks for the tip. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, let's save this here as not impros, but this is actually a new piece of music, number 6, called Autumn's Reverie. That's nice. That's actually really nice because that's actually a really good name for this track. Anyway, version 1. I'm having second thoughts if I should have ChatGPT come up with names for my tracks. Because if I could, I would just name them track 1, track 2, track, and so on. I mean, sometimes there are really pieces that connect to something that's happening to me, or somewhere. But most of the time, I really have to look hard for something that really, for something in the real world that this can connect to, like I have in this case. So and then it's really, ChatGPT can help me out, at least just to give me a starting point that might work and that might resonate with something that can work. And then again, there's also the language barrier, because as you might know, English is nicht meine Muttersprache. English is not my my name. It's not my main language. So that makes things also a little harder. So I feel like ChatGPT can help me with my shortcomings in that way. I mean, this is a nice piece. Autumn's Reverie. That's actually a really good title. And maybe I will release this in autumn, so that would make sense. I mean, the rest of the names, like out of these 20, there's like 3 that I think are okay, and 1 that I really like. And I did this a couple of times already, and it doesn't always work that well. Yeah, but you know what? I think we'll call it a day here. All right. Thank you everybody for being here today. It was again really a pleasure to have you all. Well, let's loop this part. Okay, was the first time you were here in chat. It was really nice having you. Ruben, who is probably being productive right now, and looking for a small piano. Philip Hermann was here, and oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't even see that. Planet Folly was here. Sorry, I didn't see a comment. Well, nice to see you streaming. I'm getting my nice headphones out now. Thank you so much. Ramin K was here, and Francesco Miloni, Lucy Waves. Oh, many people were here today. Maciej Sadowski, Francesco Miloni. Yeah, I think. Thank you all for being here today. It was really a pleasure having you. I will try my best to be streaming next week, same time, not same time, like 10 a.m. Central European Time. So next week would be the, let me see, the 23rd of February. I will try my best to be streaming then, 10 a.m. Central European Time. Again, this place, same time. Not same time. Again, you you know what I mean. All right. Thank you everybody for watching today, and yeah, have a great day. Wait a second. And obviously, Wanderer, you were also here. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. And yeah, have a nice day. Have a nice day, everybody. See you soon.